What's going on, guys? I hope you like my office. In today's video, we're going to be going over practical nutritional tips and just covering a little bit of basic knowledge too, so you can start getting into a healthier lifestyle today. See, almost every driver that I've met who struggles with the weight says the same thing. Ever since they got on this job, they're just sat in their arse all day, they're not burning any calories, and then they go into the garage and it's just too easy to grab the nearest shit that they see. And pretty much everyone knows that if you're trying to get in shape, leading a more active lifestyle and eating better are two big parts of the picture. So we're going to be covering that eating better side of things today. Now, when it comes to losing weight, a lot of people could actually make great progress just by implementing some common sense tactics that probably already know deep inside, things like choosing an apple over a big chocolate bar. But far too many people overcomplicate the process right away by thinking they need to do some big extreme changes just to get off decent results. They're going to need to do some mad fad diets. They're going to need to be super restrictive with foods. They're going to need to meal prep for 10 hours a week. And it's just really impractical tips. Sure, they might be optimal, but it's not really optimal if you can't implement it for a day, never mind a week. You need to be doing things that are going to be sustainable habits over time. So we're going to go over some basic nutritional knowledge just so that you understand how fat loss works in the first place. We're going to go over some practical tips that you can implement today, so whenever you go to a garage, it's harder for you to fail and easy for you to make better choices. And we're going to go over some practical nutrition prep tips as well. So for our basic knowledge, all fat loss and fat gain comes down to is calories in versus calories out. You've probably heard of calories before. It's the name that we give to energy within food that we burn on a day-to-day basis. When we eat more calories than we burn on a day-to-day basis, we store that excess energy away in our body fat banks to use at a later date, and we gain body fat over time. When we burn more energy than we eat on a day-to-day basis, we turn to our body fat banks to use that energy to make up for what we're not eating, and that's how we lose fat as time goes by. So bearing that in mind, less calorie dense foods are usually what it is that we want to go for when we're trying to lose fat. And sometimes it's going to be hard to spot, but sometimes common sense is going to do you a big favor with this one. I.e., if we take a big dairy milk bar of chocolate and we have an apple, pretty much no one needs to be a nutrition expert to know that the apple is going to be a better choice than the dairy milk bar. But the reason for that is because a big dairy milk bar is about 5 times the amount of calories as an apple. It's got 5 times the amount of energy inside it. Yeah? So if we're eating those, it's very easy to eat an excess amount of energy with chocolate bars than it is with fruit. The other nutritional basic that we need to know is that eating a protein-based diet really will make all the difference. Firstly, protein is what we're made from. Every single time that we train and we're looking for our muscles to recover and get stronger, that's coming from a high protein diet. And also protein is the most filling nutrient as well. So when we eat an excess amount of protein on a day-to-day basis, we tend to feel fuller for longer, and it helps to keep sugar cravings at bay, making us less likely to snack excessively throughout the day and overeat our calories by the end of the day. And this is where our first practical tip comes in. We don't need to track and count every single calorie that we eat. We don't need to track every single gram of protein that we eat, but we do need to be mindful that eating lower calorie foods and higher protein based foods is going to be better for us on average for fat loss in the long run. So let's say without grabbing a meal deal, if we're looking for our lunch, a snack and a drink, lunch wise, we're looking at something protein dense, which is usually going to be something with plenty of meat in it. For snacks, instead of chocolate bars and crisp, we're looking for fruit-based snacks or protein snack alternatives, which are becoming more and more popular every day. And then for drinks, we're looking for sugar-free alternatives instead of going for the full sugar stuff. Sugar-free alternatives are always going to be pretty much calorie-free, either that or water. Now, don't get me wrong, when we're at a garage, we are at the mercy of whatever choice it is that we see in front of us. But it's not about chasing perfection. If we're grabbing something on the go, it's about trying to choose the lesser of two evils when we're presented with our choices. And as I said, your common sense is probably going to play a bigger role in this than what you realize. But let's put it to the test and see. I've got a bunch of food from the Spar garage. We have lunches, snacks, and drinks. Let's have a little check and see which ones you think are going to be lower in calories and higher in protein. Overall, better choices. For our lunch, we have sausage rolls and a chicken salad sandwich. Which one of these do you reckon is going to be a better choice? For our snacks, we have McCoy's Thai Sweet Chili Crisp, and we have some Fridge Raiders chicken bites. Which one of those do you think is going to be lower in calories and higher in protein? And here, we have a Coke, and we have a Coke Zero. Which one of these do you reckon is going to have less calories in it? Now, if you pick these for the lower calorie foods and these for the higher calorie foods, you'd be right. But let's have a little check and see how right you actually are and what kind of a difference that makes. A quick little Google shows that a Greggs sausage roll has an average 300 calories. So 2 sausage rolls, probably on average, has 600. Thai Sweet Chili Crisp, 200 calories. Full sugar Coke, 200 calories. So there's about 1,000 calories there. And there's not much protein inside these sausage rolls. You know, it's pretty poor quality meat, about 15 grams of protein in there. Now, if we go for these ones, 355 calories in the sandwich, 88 calories inside the chicken bites, no calories inside the Coke. The protein inside the sandwich and the chicken bites adds up to 35 grams. So right now, this meal has about half the calories and twice the amount of protein as this one does. Now, I don't think anyone would need to be a nutrition expert to say the high sugar Coke is probably going to be a worse choice for you than the low sugar Coke. or the chicken sandwich is going to be better than sausages, or chicken bites is going to be better than a packet of crisps. So if we've just saved 500 calories in a meal, well, these numbers might surprise you. 1 pound of body fat energy stored within us is 3,500 calories. So if we choose a 500 calorie meal over a 1,000 calorie meal for 7 days in the week, 5 times 7 is 3,500. Just by going for this lower calorie choice, we could be shaving off the equivalent of 1 pound of body fat's worth of energy by the end of the week. If you were to couple something like that with doing 10,000 steps per day, which averagely burns 500 calories at a time, you could be burning £2 per week just by making slightly better lunch choices off your own instinct and going for an extra walk. So, high protein based lunch, something that looks like it's got meat in it, fruit or a protein based snack, a sugar free drink, or water. And that's going to make a huge difference to just grabbing the first thing that you see every time you go in. Now, if moving on to practical tip number 2, it is meal prepping. However, I'm not into this whole thing of taking hours and hours, once or twice per week, to be able to prep those 3 or 4 meals at a time. What if you could just get it done in 30 minutes? Well, the good news is that you can, thanks to the likes of Aldi and Lidl popping up all over the places. Those places tend to do pretty high protein foods across the entire shops. If you go into the frozen sections, the likes of Aldi sell frozen paella and frozen fajita chicken mixes, which usually are just mixes with bits of meat, some mixed veggies inside there, and some rice or other kind of complex carbs. You can buy a big bag of that stuff for £2. You can buy a 400 or 500 gram of ready diced up lean meat like chicken breast, or you could get yourself something like pork loin steaks and just chop the excess fat off there to save a little bit of calories. Put it all on a pan, and that thing is going to be cooked within about 20 to 30 minutes, and it's going to do you for 3 meals easily. And if you don't want to buy something from a frozen bag itself, sound, all you need to be looking out for is having a big heavy portion of lean meat. Mix that in with some kind of slow release complex carb like rice, white potatoes or sweet potatoes, and then looking at throwing some mixed veggies in there as well. Pretty much every vegetable under the sun is low in calories, so you can just go mad, whatever it is that you want to get in there. Your tender stem broccoli, your sweet corn, whatever it is that you fancy. Add some herbs and spice in there, and you're going to be good to go. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, those are some pretty basic guidelines that you put out there, but you can't really go wrong following basic guidelines that are easy for you to be able to implement on a long-term basis. Where you go wrong is when you try and go for optimal and you get burnt out on day one. So don't be trying to chase optimal just because it's what someone else is doing and it looks like it's perfect and all that. Chase practical, something you can start doing today and build on tomorrow. Bonus tip, I forgot to film this one when I was sat down before. If you are looking to grab some high protein foods on the go, try and get yourself down the Aldi, mate. I know you're not always going to be able to get there, but if you pass one while you're on your journeys, head inside there. When you go to their sandwich sections, pretty much all their sandwiches are hella meaty, loads of protein inside them. They've got all kinds of protein snacks from chicken bites, chicken skewers, even boiled eggs if that's your kind of thing. And they have protein shakes and even protein coffees and stuff like that, man. Hard to fail when you go to Aldi. But otherwise, I hope that you found the other tips in this video useful. Remember, it's not about having the perfect plan, it's about having the best practical plan that's hard for you to fail. So yeah, hope you take these tips on board, guys, and best of luck on your journey to a healthier you. See you later, mate.